We are going to be watching winter storm warning take effect later on tonight. I'll have those details.
Plus, if you have to go out and drive in the wintry conditions, going to have some tips to make it safely.
President Biden holding talks with two key senators about his Supreme Court justice search. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with the latest coming up.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Temperatures are dropping tonight. The wind is getting up there, turning that rain into ice. We go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy. Doug.
Yeah, we're under a winter storm warning in effect for everyone as we go through the overnight hours tonight, tomorrow night, and then cutting off by the time we finally head into late Thursday. But so far, we've just had rain across the region. A lot of rain has been increasing over the past several hours, southwestern Missouri, Oklahoma, and then kind of scattered about across southeastern parts of Kansas. But where you see the yellows, those are heavier pockets of rain. You go into our far northern counties, this is sleet, which is starting to mix in across our very far northern counties. And that sleet, freezing rain line will march south as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Watch the frozen precip march into the metro just shortly after midnight. So only a few more hours of rain. Of course, I'll break this down for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. Area departments of transportation are getting ready to treat those roads to keep them safe. KDOT says they have more than 100 trucks throughout the district ready to go. Officials say they will not be treating the roads until the rain stops so that it doesn't get washed away, all those chemicals. KDOT does have staff shortages in some places, but officials say they're still going to be ready to go.
Well, make sure the trucks are in working order, that they're fixed, and that they're all in working order. And if they go on standby, some of them may go home earlier in the day so they can come back and start their shifts. And they just know that they monitor the weather conditions and to determine to stay in readiness.
MoDOT is also dealing with short staffing. Officials say they plan to have workers on 12-hour shifts to get the job done. They want to remind drivers to stay away from trucks as they are working to make their jobs easier. MoDOT also plans to wait until after the rain to treat those roads.
When you get rain to start with, that hurts our ability to put something down and leave it on the road in preparation of the snow and break the bond. But that doesn't mean we won't put some down. Other challenges, traffic is a massive challenge for us.
Compared to the past couple of snows we've had, this one is going to have a bigger impact on the area. The number one recommendation is stay safe. Simply stay home. But if you can't stay home, there are things you can do. Rick Nixon with Nixon's Garage says the first thing you should do is check your antifreeze and make sure it's strong enough mix to protect your car from the lower temperatures. The second thing is making sure your tire pressures are good. And he says to follow what's listed on the driver door panel for appropriate pressures for your car. Nixon says there's other things to take into consideration.
I would be thinking about something to scrape the windows with. Let's get those nice and clean. We want to look at maybe our wiper blades, make sure we got wiper blades that are going to help keep it clean. And of course, we want to make sure our defrost is working to help keep, again, visibility, keep that windshield clean.
Nixon adds when it comes to those tires, all season or winter rated tires are best for this kind of weather. All right, so the car is ready to go. What about when you're actually on the road? A driving instructor from the Alliance of Southwest Missouri offered some tips to steer you in the right direction. As we mentioned, the top tip is to simply not go out. But if you are, Mark Box says it's essential to have a full tank of gas. You also want to have warm clothes, food, and blankets. Boggs also says if you must drive, use a front wheel or four-wheel drive. He also has a reminder about four-wheel drive.
Just another reminder, four-wheel drive does not mean that you can stop any quicker. So four-wheel drive is only when you're hitting the accelerator does this help you drive.
Boggs adds if you do have to leave, make sure you leave early so you can drive safely and arrive to your destination on time. City of Neosho, Missouri says it's prepared for incoming winter weather. City officials there say all of their trucks are ready for snow removal, and their salt brine truck is up and ready to fight back against ice accumulations on roads.
Feels very important. Without the transportation routes, things don't move. The shipping's not been made available. Emergency vehicles aren't able to get to where they need to go. Public Works is typically the group that's working in the background, but we take our job very seriously, and we've got great.
If needed, crews are prepared to work 2 non-stop rotations of 12-hour shifts until roads are drivable. Well, a new development surrounding the U.S. Supreme Court. Today, President Biden met with the leaders of the Senate Judiciary Committee to discuss the forthcoming vacancy once Justice Breyer officially retires. Who the president picks is a big topic of conversation on Capitol Hill. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has the latest now from D.C.
Selecting a justice is one of the president's most serious responsibilities.
President Biden and Vice President Harris welcoming the top Democrat and Republican on the Senate Judiciary Committee to the White House Tuesday. Chairman Dick Durbin and Ranking Member Chuck Grassley will play a big role in the Supreme Court confirmation process.
We need somebody that's going to interpret the law and not make law, because that's Congress's job.
The White House meeting a first step for President Biden to lay out his thinking to members of Congress.
But I intend to make this decision and get it to my colleagues by the end of the month.
Republicans have warned the president with a 50-50 split Senate, the nominee should be able to get some GOP buy-in.
If he nominates yet another radical activist to the court, I would hope that the Senate would do the right thing and reject that nomination.
Our intention is, of course, to get broad support for an eminently qualified nominee.
The nominee is expected to be historic, a black woman. Plus, some lawmakers want there to be fewer Ivy League credentials on the bench. 8 of the 9 current justices have law degrees from either Harvard or Yale.
It says to them, you've got just as much of a chance to benefit from the greatness of this country as everybody else.
Normally, a nominee holds in-person meetings with senators. For the pandemic, there's talk of changing those sit-downs to Zoom calls. Outside the Supreme Court, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
U.S. and NATO allies are hoping for a diplomatic breakthrough with Russia, holding a series of high-level talks today about the crisis at the Ukrainian border. The discussions come as Russian President Vladimir Putin finally publicly responds to the situation. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Washington with the latest details on his remarks.
For the first time in weeks, Russian President Vladimir Putin is publicly addressing the showdown with Ukraine. And he's blunt, simply saying the U.S. and NATO failed to meet his security demands, which includes stopping the alliance from expanding.
Principal Russian concerns were ignored.
The standoff remains despite a flurry of high-level diplomacy talks Tuesday. In a phone call with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Secretary of State Antony Blinken once again urged the withdrawal of thousands of troops along the Ukrainian border.
The door to diplomacy remains open. We don't know what decision President Putin will make.
Meanwhile, NATO is trying to showcase a united front. Poland and Canada are vowing to support Ukraine in case and ahead of a Russian invasion, while British Prime Minister Boris Johnson met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
We are keen to engage in dialogue. Of course we are, but we have the sanctions ready. We're providing military support.
Ukrainian officials maintain diplomacy is the only way to stop an attack. Still, the country is expanding its army by 100,000 troops, a deterrent, says Zelensky.
We appreciate the support of each and every one, but we rely only on ourselves. We are a strong country.
The Biden administration is expected to brief Congress this week on the situation in Russia as lawmakers consider a sanctions bill that they hope will deter Russia from invading Ukraine. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes its time now to honor another four-state hero. Harold Neal served in the U.S. Navy from 1943 to 46. Native of Quapaw, Oklahoma, Neal was stationed at Pearl Harbor, and we are proud to thank and salute Harold Neal. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, it's day 2 of the Mercy Warrior Classic at McCully Catholic High School. Highlights in sports.
Well, it actually turned out to be an okay day for us today. Showers rolling in by about the noon hour, but temperature is pretty good, near 60 degrees. Of course, we're dropping off quite a bit out there right now. Winter storm warnings in effect for the entire area, which go into effect here shortly in a couple hours. And this is for freezing rain, sleet, and snow that we are going to get over about the next 36 hours. So far, it's just been rain. And you can see the yellows popping up on the radar, and that is showing us moderate rain across the region. We've actually had some pretty good amounts, especially along the I-44 corridor from Miami up through the Joplin Metro, down toward Neosho, up toward Nevada, and then kind of spotty once you get back across southeastern Kansas. But you can see very far northern counties. In the purple, we go to sleet, and then in the pink, a little bit of freezing rain, and then it's all snow once you get up toward Kansas City and then stretching back toward the southwest near Wichita. But this was not out there just a few hours ago, so it is popping up, and that line is marching off toward the south and will continue to do so as the moisture really rolls in. So this is kind of wave number one. Wave number two, the one that's mainly going to give us snow, is still holding back across parts of Arizona into New Mexico. Look at our temps. We're dropping quick, near freezing in our northern counties. The metro upper 30s, still upper 40s once you get into our southern counties, but you can see that front just kind of plowed on through as we work through the evening hours. It's also windy out there. We have north winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. All right, let's go through time. Let's go through the overnight hours tonight. Look at the freezing rain line kind of sinking south, and then sleet, then snow in our northern counties. So this is just shortly after midnight. Then it's a wintry mix. Most of us 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's not going to be extremely heavy, but we are going to get some ice accumulations. We switched to snow in our northern counties. So Iola, Yates Center, Chanute, over toward Fort Scott. You are going to pick up 2 to 4 inches of snow just tonight from this wave. By morning, the heaviest is going to start to roll out, but you can see that snow line all the way down to Pittsburgh. So we still have moderate snow in our northern counties. And then we just kind of go to a lull by late morning into the early afternoon. So I think most of us, our ground's going to be white tomorrow, but you're going to see a lot of grass. It's going to be very thin, kind of sleet, some of the roads a little bit slick. Not too bad on the roads most of the day. Then here comes the moderate to heavy snow. So 5, 6, 7 p.m. and then we go into a period tomorrow night where we get 1 to 2 inches of snow per hour all the way through the overnight hours. I think by Thursday morning, the heaviest will start to push off toward the east. We haven't even talked about the cold temperatures. It's going to be super cold. All right, freezing rain or ice for us tonight, 1 to 2 tenths. Anything over 1/4 of an inch really causes some issues. I think we'll stay just below that, but we are going to have some ice out there, so be careful on the roadways. Then as we switch over to snow, that's when we really get the accumulations. So moderate freezing rain and sleet late tonight, and then just light snow showers and sleet showers tomorrow morning. Then we go to heavy snow tomorrow night, and then just kind of light snow showers for the rest of the day. So the bulk of our system comes from 4 p.m. tomorrow until about 8 a.m. on Thursday. Here's the roads. A little tricky for us tomorrow. Not awful, a little tricky. They get bad tomorrow evening. You don't want to drive tomorrow night. Back to bad Friday, and then we kind of trend out, or Thursday, we trend out on Thursday afternoon. Roads getting a little bit better. All right, forecasted snowfall amounts. This is snow and sleet because we have a wintry mix. I think the heaviest is going to be from Fort Scott, Nevada, El Dorado Springs into central Missouri, 8 to 12 inches. Most of us will be 6 to 10 inches. Our southern counties are south of I-44. Let's go 4 to 8, and that is just due to tomorrow evening when we get a big brunt of the heavy moisture. Our southern counties will be all sleet. All right, 20s tomorrow, 21 on Thursday, 6 Thursday night, only 25 Friday. So whatever does fall will be on the ground for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, the day started out okay, but then changed.
Rain and got cold.
Yep. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much. Coming up, getting more people vaccinated.
There's a big push to get more kids vaccinated, including expanding eligibility to a new age group. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Your young child could soon be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine if the feds sign off. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more now from Atlanta.
Access to the Pfizer vaccine could soon be expanding. The drug maker has asked the FDA for emergency use authorization for kids ages 6 months to 5 years. That would be for a 2-shot regimen with lower doses than other age groups. Some parents are welcoming the news, saying they'll get their kids vaccinated as soon as possible. But others are hesitating, claiming the vaccine is not safe, and they're concerned that if more mandates go into effect, they might not be given a choice.
It would be communism. If we can't advocate for our children's rights as parents, then where are we at in a society?
A number of cities and states are using mandates to increase vaccination rates among young people. On Tuesday, New Orleans became the first major school district to require shots for students ages 5 and up. And in Oakland, a new ordinance is in effect mandating vaccines for anyone over the age of 12 entering an indoor business.
Personally, I like having a mandate so that we don't have to argue with people about it.
A growing number of schools are also bringing back mask mandates, hoping to keep kids safe as in-person learning ramps back up. But critics say the masks are having a major negative impact.
Just so many problems with hearing, with trying to develop speech, and just with the mental capacity as a whole.
If the FDA gives Pfizer approval, the vaccine for younger children could become available before the end of the month. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Still ahead, top officials with the Democrat Party responded to accusations that the relationship with the president is strained. Students at some historically black colleges and universities in the U.S. woke up to bomb threats. For some campuses, it was the second day in a row. No explosives have been found. Students and faculty were given the all clear for classes eventually. The Department of Homeland Security says it's coordinating with federal, state, and local agencies. Democratic National Committee Chairman Jamie Harrison defending himself as accusations grow that his relationship with the president is strained. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith has more from Washington.
Hello, Democrats!
DNC Chairman Jamie Harrison is firing back at critics who say he's failing at his job. In a series of weekend tweets, Harrison denied an NBC report which cited unnamed sources that he wants to quit. He wrote, "Only in D.C. can you break a fundraising record and have folks complain it isn't enough," and added, "If you expect me to go away or roll into a ball and whimper, you picked the wrong one."
This D on my lapel, it stands for Democrats delivering.
Harrison became party chairman last year after losing his Senate race in South Carolina against Lindsey Graham. And while there are reports of tensions between Harrison and the White House, at least one top Democrat is coming to his defense.
I think he is exactly what we need for this party at this particular juncture. Jamie Harrison is there. He will never run.
With midterms looming, Democrats are scrambling to hold on to their congressional majorities. A recent Gallup survey found fewer Americans identifying with the Democratic Party, giving the GOP its largest advantage in more than 25 years.
This has been an epic failure of a year for Joe Biden. He came in promising that he would unite the country and he would put COVID behind us. And he has done the exact opposite.
But donors are hedging their bets. New fundraising numbers released today show Republicans only slightly outraised Democrats last year. The RNC says it raised $158 million in 2021, Democrats raising $157 million in the same period. And there's a lot more money being raised and spent aside from the political parties. George Soros, the wealthy and controversial Democratic donor, says he's pouring $125 million into his super PAC, all to help boost Democratic candidates. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
So a new poll shows how many Americans are totally fine, they're cool, with not getting anything for Valentine's Day. You're going to learn more. Some frank heart-to-heart talk about not getting hearts or gifts for Valentine's Day. A YouGov.com poll says almost 20% of Americans are okay with not getting gifts for Valentine's Day. The poll was taken January 24th from more than 19,000 people in different areas of the country. But people aren't skipping all heart flutter. 33% would like a card, 29% would like a nice dinner out, and that includes 23% of men saying, "Wine and dine me." 23% of men, wine and dine me. And 28% of overall say chocolates or candy are sweet. So, a reminder, Doug,
Yo.
Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
You actually reminded me during the break. But my wife who's watching, I got you covered. I love you. I don't have anything yet. But I got you. I got you. Hopefully. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Authorities in Newton County seized dozens of malnourished animals from a home.
The FBI out with a new warning about cybersecurity concerns at the Olympics. I'm David Spunt at the Department of Justice. That story coming up.
Webb City Police arrest a man for damaging a school bus with students still on board. School district officials say the man made his way onto the high school parking lot this morning. He left his vehicle, approached the school bus. Authorities say he then broke a bus window in an attempt to assault the bus driver. The suspect did not get on the bus and he was arrested. School district officials say the bus driver handled the situation well, kept students safe, and is in good spirits. An Ohio man is dead after a crash in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Happened on I-44 about 10 miles east of Miami. Oklahoma State Highway Patrol isn't saying what caused the crash. They did say it involved William Arthrell, who passed away at the scene. Also a truck driver from California who is not injured. Newton County Sheriff's Office today seized around 60 dogs from a home. Authorities say the dogs were in poor condition, lacking proper shelter, food, and water. Several cats were also rescued. The Joplin Humane Society and the Diamond Fire Department brought food and water for the animals. Going to be taken to St. Louis for treatment and care. Criminal charges for the owners are being considered. Well, the Winter Olympics opening ceremony takes place on Friday. Ahead of the games, though, the FBI is urging athletes to use burner phones because of cybersecurity concerns. Fox News correspondent David Spunt has more from the Justice Department.
With just days until the Beijing Winter Olympics, the FBI issued a stern warning about how cyber activities could disrupt the events. In a new notice, the Bureau cautions about ransomware, data theft, and tracking tools installed on mobile devices. When successful, cyber actors could, quote, block or disrupt the live broadcast of the event, steal or leak sensitive data, or impact public or private digital infrastructure supporting the Olympics. The agency also urged athletes to use burner phones and leave personal electronics at home.
We should be providing them with all the warnings, firewalls that we possibly can. Be careful to even email to anyone.
According to the FBI, there were more than 450 million attempted cyber-related incidents at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. But there were no major cyber disruptions due to security measures in place. Chinese authorities have said due to the influx of foreign travelers, the country would weaken its firewall blocking citizens from accessing certain news and social media outlets. Cyber experts fear this could open foreigners up to the threat of Chinese cyber espionage tactics. FBI Director Christopher Wray says the Chinese government's threat to the West is more damaging than ever before.
The Chinese government steals staggering volumes of information and causes deep job-destroying damage across a wide range of industries. We're constantly opening new cases to counter their intelligence operations.
Despite the strong warning, the FBI is not aware of any specific threat to the Olympics. At the Department of Justice, David Spunt, Fox News.
Value meals. Those value meals may become a thing of the past. Inflation is hitting companies and customers right where it hurts. Their value meals. According to the Wall Street Journal, a handful of fast food restaurants are looking to get rid of those cheaper promotions in order to save money during the ongoing supply chain crisis. Some of the deals in jeopardy include the $1 drink promotion at select Mickey D's and Denny's $2 through $8 value menu. But other beloved discount deals could be on the chopping block as well. A bit later, church in the metaverse.
Tech experts say pretty much anything is possible in the metaverse, even going to church. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at how religion is getting a virtual reality makeover. That's straight ahead.
Well, of course, not a bad day for us today. And then the rain started to roll in, then the winds picked up, and the temperatures have been dropping as we have gone through the past several hours. And it looks like it's just going to keep getting colder throughout the overnight hours. Winter storm warnings, and in fact, the entire viewing area. This is for freezing rain, sleet, and snow that we are going to see over the next several hours. So far, it's mainly been rain, but pockets of moderate rain. Where you see the yellows popping up on the radar, this is moderate rain. You can see the moisture increasing across the region, especially northeastern Oklahoma, and then stretching up into southwestern parts of Missouri. Very far northern counties starting to mix in with a little bit of sleet. Then you hit snow in the blue from Kansas City, Lawrence, Topeka, and then stretching all the way back toward Wichita. But all this moisture is increasing. Here's wave 1. Here's wave 2. Wave 2 is our main event, which will really roll in as we go through the overnight hours tomorrow night. Look at our temps dipping: 34 in Nevada, 33 in Iola, 39 in Independence, and then you still have 51 in Bella Vista. But we've dropped pretty quickly, and most of us are going to be at or below freezing here in just about 4 hours or so. You can see that front sliding south as we go through the daytime hours. Very windy behind it, so if we do get any ice accumulations, the wind's never a good thing for trees and also some power lines. Good news here, with temperatures dropping faster, that means less freezing rain. That means more sleet, but it means less freezing rain. Sleet is worse kind of for the roads. Freezing rain is worse for trees and the power lines. So here's 1 a.m. through the metro, freezing rain. Temperatures right at about freezing, sleet, snow. By 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, everybody is sleet, freezing rain, or snow, and we're going to have pockets of moderate sleet and snow all the way into tomorrow morning. We're still going to get some pockets tomorrow morning, and then I think late morning it's going to cut off to just light snow showers, not really accumulating, just kind of snow blowing around into most of the afternoon, and then here comes the main band. So now we're looking at 5 p.m. Quickly, let's look at our day planner here, and you can see we go the wrong direction all day. 25 in the morning, 21 by noon, 19 by 3, with our next band picking up. Also windy, northeasterly winds 15 to 25. Moderate snow, periods of heavy snow. Here's 10 p.m. We're in the teens, snowing heavily. Continues moderate to heavy snow until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Then we back down to light snow, and then most of this will be out of here by about 8 a.m. on Thursday. And then we're still going to have to deal with some flurries and light snow showers. So freezing rain amounts, I think most of us 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch, which it's not good, but it's could be a lot worse. Anything over about 1/4 of an inch is really not good. All right, so tonight we're dealing with moderate ice, 4 a.m., 8 a.m. We got a very light snow showers, noon, 4 p.m. Heavy snow, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Thursday morning, and then we back down to just light snow by the time we head into Thursday morning. What about the roads? I do think we're going to have some issues with the ice that we get tonight. So we're going to call it tricky. They're not going to be covered. They're not going to be awful, but they're going to be tricky. You want to be very careful. Tomorrow evening, they go to bad. Tomorrow night, you don't want to be out. And then still kind of bad and tricky as we go into the daytime hours and late in the day on Thursday. How much are we going to get? I'm going to keep our southern counties 4 to 8 inches because with the main band tomorrow, we're going to get a lot of sleet in our southern counties. So that really drops the snowfall amounts. Where it's mainly snow, 6 to 10 inches. And then the band tonight on top of the band tomorrow gives our northern counties 8 to 12 inches, which 6 to 10 for most of us is a pretty big event. That does mean we could end up with 6. That means we could end up with 10. Hopefully we fall in that range. All right, 20s tomorrow, 21 on Thursday, down to 6 Thursday night, 25 Friday. Near freezing on Saturday, so this is going to be around for several days.
Big event, like you said.
Yeah.
Doug, thank you. Coming up in sports, opening day for Missouri Southern Baseball, plus big COC showdown between Carthage and Joplin. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
Carthage and Joplin have been two of the best boys basketball teams in the area all season long. Carthage is 15-3 through 18 games, while Joplin is 13-5. Tonight, the two teams square off in Carthage in their one and only scheduled meeting this season. Carthage down 3 until Justin Ray knocks down the deep ball. Later in the quarter, Max Templeman gets the reverse to go. Tigers lead by 4 after 1. Second quarter, Joplin starts to use their size. Terrence Gibson scores 8 in the second quarter, 12 in the first half. Eagles go up 1 at halftime. Early fourth, game gets fun. Always right, doing what he does. He finishes with 13. Other end, Joel Pugh, quiet most of the night, but big shot here gets Carthage within 1 with 5 to go. 2 minutes left. Still down 1, Clay Kinder, corner 3. Tigers go back in front by 2. Kinder scores 17. Now check this out. Final seconds. Joplin down 1. Always right drives. It's no good, but Terrence Gibson there for the tip-in. And that's the game winner for Joplin. Gibson finishes with 16. Eagles win a thriller tonight, 46-45. On the girls' game, also Joplin taking that one 47-36. Brooke Nice leads the Eagles with 15 points. Ella Hafer scores 14, while Bryn Driver adds 12. Today is day 2 of the Mercy Warrior Classic at Macaulay Catholic High School. Now tonight we have a pair of Joplin schools squaring off in round 1, with Thomas Jefferson hitting the floor against College Heights. Now the winner of this one moves on to the tournament semifinals tomorrow night. Early on, Libby Fanning spins and scores for College Heights. She scores 6 in the first quarter. Then Jaylee Johnson goes to work here, finds Addie Lawrence. Lawrence hits the 3 ball. Johnson doing it herself this time, and the foul. Cougars up double digits after the first. Second quarter, Cavaliers start to get something going. Tana Grigg drives and scores. In final seconds of the half, look at this. Sarah Mueller beats the buzzer for Thomas Jefferson. But it's College Heights rolling and moving on 55-41. The greatest quarterback to ever do it has officially called it a career today. Tom Brady announces his retirement from the NFL after 22 years in the league. And Brady is a 7-time Super Bowl champ and a 5-time Super Bowl MVP. He leaves the game as the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, completions, regular season wins, and playoff wins. And Brady was a 6th-round draft pick for the New England Patriots in 2000 and is 44 years old. Now Brady had previously said, quote, "When I suck, I'll retire," but that really never happened. This season at 44 years old, he threw for 5,316 yards and 43 touchdowns, both of those best in the league. He also led the NFL in pass attempts and yards per game. He's now eligible to enter the NFL Hall of Fame in 2027. Well, today's the opening day of the baseball season for the Missouri Southern Lions. Southern kicks things off today on the road against Southwestern Oklahoma State. They gave up 8 in the 5th in this one. They would fall 13-6. But freshman Webb City High School product Tragan Parker goes 1 for 3 with a double and his first career RBI for Missouri Southern. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Thousands of treadmills are being recalled. Johnson Health Tech is recalling its Matrix Fitness T1X, T1XE, T3X, and T3XH due to an issue with the power cord that can cause a fire risk. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the recall was triggered by dozens of reports from consumers that the power cord and socket had started to spark, smoke, or melt. In 7 instances, the problem even started a fire. Well, the Metaverse is an online platform where people can use virtual reality headsets to transport themselves into any realm they wish, including church. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has more on the rise of digital worshiping in the Metaverse.
I believe the future of the church is the Metaverse.
A growing number of people are turning to the Metaverse for their religious services, as folks pop on virtual reality headsets and partake in digital church.
Let me have someone read verses 19 through 21.
But just because it's virtual doesn't mean it's less interactive than going to a physical house of worship. If anything, VR church participants say it enhances their religious experience.
I was able to see a rendering of the verse I was reading, which made scripture much more meaningful for me.
And it's so much more than scripture readings. Baptisms are also taking place in the Metaverse.
The rebirth that you got through Jesus Christ. Do you want this?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Yes, I baptize you now.
But this kind of worshiping isn't just for the tech savvy. Founders say it's helping enhance the lives of people who can't physically attend a church. People like Alina Delp, who was diagnosed with a chronic illness that's confined her to her home.
Suddenly you're empowered again. Suddenly you matter again. Suddenly you're human again.
But can church services originally intended to be done in person really be accomplished online? Some aren't so sure.
Jesus says, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there. And Christian theologians have not yet grappled with what that means when they're gathered in digital spaces.
Supporters of metaverse worship say it's people, not a physical building, that embodies a church. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Coming up, gonna check out some movies to get you in the mood for the Olympics this week. All right, with those Winter Olympics and the Super Bowl coming up, we have some recommendations for those in the sports movie mood too, from new films to past favorites, those based on true stories, comedies, and more. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
This is your dream? Don't give up on it.
We've got the Winter Olympics, we've got the Super Bowl, so we've got some sports movies recommendations. And let's start with new releases. A timely one, American Underdog, which was in theaters and now available at home.
You got the whole package, kid.
This is the real life story of Kurt Warner, who went from working at a supermarket to winning the Super Bowl for the Rams. Zachary Levi plays Warner.
On Netflix is the Kevin James-led Home Team. Voodoo's collection of recommendations has classics like Miracle.
The year is 1980. Team USA hockey team was not favored to beat the Soviets, but with the help of coach Herb Brooks, who's played by the great Kurt Russell, he's able to lead the American team to a very surprising gold medal victory. Downhill racer. This stars Robert Redford, who joins the ski team, and he clashes with the team's coach, who's played by Gene Hackman. One that it is a classic now, I would say, is The Cutting Edge.
Several picks are based on true stories.
One in recent years that has become a huge fan favorite is Eddie the Eagle. Cool Runnings is probably one of the more beloved winter sports movies. Great story here about a down on his luck Jamaican sprinter who fails to qualify for the 1988 Summer Olympics. And so instead, he decides to form a bobsled team in the hopes of making the 1988 Winter Olympics. I, Tanya. This is, of course, based on the real story, the real feud between Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan.
You two are the last pieces of the puzzle.
And among comedic options, Will Ferrell in Blades of Glory.
We have winter sports comedies, but there are a certain subsection of films that just take the comedy to another level.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
John Candy, Cool Runnings, good movie. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of celebrations of the Chinese Lunar New Year around the globe. Hey, be safe with all this weather. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.